lectures to you, Engineer Eric Mbeze. Thank you so very much for setting the tone for this afternoon's lecture by Professor Dr. Goswami Nandu for the 11th Convocation ceremony. Otherwise, also, I humbly invite you to give your opening remark.
The Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Government Council of our University, Professor Christian Machuko, the first Chairman of Board of Trustees of our University, Professor Joseph Iketunchiago, principal officers of the University, BBC Registered University Librarian, the University Orator, professors of our university, members of the academic staff of the university and the Institute of Community Education, members of the administrative staff of the University of Community Education, all members of the Government Council here present, members of the Board of Trustees, priests of our diocese and other dioceses, brothers and sisters, here present, the press men and women, security officials. Go! Go! I salute you, my dear students, for being here. We are here because of one person. This person is the most important person now. Professor Dr. Nandu Goswami. The Convocation lecturer, 11th German Ria of the University of Minster, gave the first Convocation lecture of our university. It's a long time between him and Ria, who is in the arts and humanities, English precisely, and 11th Convocation now for the medical field. It's an indication of how far the university has traveled from arts and humanities to college of medicine. I was sharing something with LUC this morning on accreditation. We have a team on accreditation, and I said, we started with 250 students, and today we have over 4,000 students at the university. And some of you read against the Convocation State must have read the echo. That was my conclusion. The echo has taken off, and there's no stopping of this echo in this slide. Convocation University, 14 years since its existence, has continued its flight, and there's no stopping. I can imagine what this university will be in the next 30 years. I don't know if I'd like to see that, but I can imagine already where the university will be in the next 30 years. So the university watch. Today and tomorrow, my life is in this university. Somebody asked me what I would like to be the vice chancellor of this university when I finished my term as vice chancellor. I laughed. I said, you cannot have a baby and go to be the mama of another person. Even if I'm not vice chancellor, I'll continue to mama God for God university and die. And when I'm in heaven, I'll continue to intercede for God for God university. Okay? That is it. I've committed to it and I'm not going back. We thank God for this university. And thank God for the person who has chosen this year as a Convocation lecturer. It is very important because we have to go to medicine. The more we focus on our medicine, the better for us. It's a young college. But the caliber of lecturers, when you look at the caliber of lecturers we have, the provost of the college, Professor Adwaka, the CMD, Professor Mazinibre, Professor Kachi, when you look at these groups in the medical field, then you can go to bed and you will know clearly see this is coming. When you go to the very careful, we see how serious our college is. Normally, when you have the first dissection class with all the bodies lying there, 8 of them, 10 lying on the table, as students are asked to cut, start cutting the body, half of them will collapse. But that never happened in God for University. That never happened in God for University. The students are courageous, they are determined, they want to succeed, and they will succeed. So on this note, I thank all of you for being here, and I look forward to a very enjoyable convocation next year. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Father Vice Chancellor. May I now request the University Orator, Professor Dozie Obodu, to read the citation of the Convocation lecturer.
Father Vice Chancellor, permit me to continue with the protocol which has been established for this convocation lecture. And let me quickly proceed to read the citation of Professor Dr. Nandu Goswami. Professor Dr. Nandu Goswami was born on 15 August 1967. He is an Austrian national who earned his first degree in Nigeria. Specifically, in 1990, he earned his Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Thereafter, he enrolled at Medicine University, of New Zealand, where he earned a postgraduate diploma in science, specializing in physiology. Still in quest of more knowledge, he enrolled at the University of Fribourg, Switzerland, and earned a PhD in cardiovascular physiology. A round of applause for him. He also enrolled in the Karolinska Institute, Sweden, where he earned a master in medical science with a major in medical education. In 2020, he also earned a Doctor of Medicine from the University of Graz, Austria. His long professional experience includes the following. He is, from 2014 to present, a professor and scientific director, director of operations, Center of Space Flight and Aviation Medicine and Human Health, Mohammed bin Rashid University of Medicine and Health Sciences, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Also from 2014 to present, he is the head of Group Physiology Division, Medical University of Graz, Austria. He is also from 2015 to present, Associate Professor, Physiology Division, Medical University of Graz, Austria. From 2017 to 2021, he was the acting chair, Physiology Division, Medical University of Graz, Austria. From 2015 to 2020, he was a visiting senior lecturer, King's College, London, UK. From 2004 to 2006, he was a researcher, Institute of Food and Human Health, Medicine University, Palmerston North, New Zealand. His very rich professional membership includes the following. From 2019 to 2022, he was a member, European Space Agency, ESA, Bedrest Expert Group. 2020-2021, he was the coordinator of Cardiovascular Group, ESA, Sky Space E Research Roadmaps Expert Group. 2019 to 2022, he was a member of the United Nations Office of Outer Space, UNUSA Global Health Committee. 2014 to 2021, he was a full member, International Academy of Astronautics, IAA. Professor Dr. Nandu has published in many reputable international journals. Specifically, he has 159 papers published in peer-reviewed journals with impact factor. In Global Scholar, for instance, he has 2,763 citations with corresponding H-index of 34. Similarly, in ISI Web of Knowledge, he has 2,491 citations with corresponding H-index of 26. Professor Dr. Nandu Goswami is happily married, and their marriage is blessed with 2 beautiful children. At this point, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and my dear students, please join me to welcome our 11th Convocation lecturer, Professor Nandu Goswami.
Thank you for inviting me, respected Pro-Chancellor and the Principal Officer and my dear students. So, I'm sure you heard, I studied at Nisuka. People were asking me this morning, do you still know some words of Igbo? I said, sure. They do know. Yeah, and I would say, Dalunu. Yeah, that's right. But the professor asked me that I must not speak in English, so I promise not to speak English. I promise him that, but when I speak, right. So thank you so much, Prof, because I think for your vision, I think I have to have, it is a little bit long story, but I have to explain to you. My father came here in the 1970s, before many of you, not in the front row, but the back row, before you were born. My father was a professor of mathematics, so I came here as a 5-year-old kid. You will not believe this. I did my primary school here in Bombay. Now it's Bombay. That time was part of Bauchi State. I did my secondary. Yes, I took JAN. I heard from people talking about their West Africa school certificate. Thank you. I did that. And I got admitted to the University of Nigeria in Suka. How about that? How more Nigerian how more Nigerian do you want me to be? Because you will not believe this. I still cannot sing the Indian anthem. But I was singing today, Arise of Compatriots, because for me, that is the anthem I grew up with. So this is not, I was so delighted when I met Prof just recently on Zoom, and he said, you know, we have this lottery for your university. I said, Prof, you don't have to ask. I will come. Because today, whatever I have heard, whatever you've heard about me, it's actually because of what I achieved here in University of Nigeria. Really, and it's from the heart. It's not because of some speeches. I'm not a politician. I'm just a simple academic. And it's a pleasure because I have some colleagues from University of Nigeria, actually Enugu campus, where I lived 6 years. They are here too as well. So it's a pleasure. Great colleagues. So, having finished the University of Nigeria in 1990, I did my housemanship, and then of course, you know, you start checking out. You heard that word, check out today, and you know, I didn't check out to America. I checked out to other parts of Africa. Because they said to me, you're an Indian who grew up in Nigeria. So, you should know about tropical health. I said, the only thing I know is tropical health. So they posted me to Kenya, Sudan, Congo. I was what you call the flying doctor. I was flying everywhere. Believe me, I can do every kind of surgery. Of course. You know what I mean. Not that That's the basic one. And our clinics were under the tree. But because of the education I got in Nigeria, I swear to you, I could do everything. All over the world, that the quality of education I received at the University of Nigeria in 2000, I did not know if I would have gotten anywhere else, because this was hands-on. So after that, I wanted to do my research. So I went to New Zealand. And in New Zealand, they told me, oh, your degree is from Africa. So, bye-bye. I said, what do you mean bye-bye? I want to do a PhD. They said, no. That is Nigeria. How do you go? I said, good. What can I do? They said, you have to do a bridging program. If you do well, that's like a master program, we can admit you to a PhD. I said, how about scholarship? They said, no scholarship for foreigners. We do not give foreigners scholarship. It's only for our people. I said, okay, what's the problem? No. It's a foreigner. We want your money. I said, okay, we'll give you your money. No problem. I competed, and believe you me, this is the spirit I learned in Nigeria. I competed because I used my own money to go forward. I finished with a GPA of 3.92 out of 4. Nigeria, think about that, Nigeria. I was among the top 3 in the university, and every year they give 4 people vice chancellor scholarships. How to remove this guy who had 3.92? So they gave me the vice chancellor scholarship to do PhD there. How about that? But you know, like a typical entrepreneur who was trained by our colleagues here in Enugu, you know, I have a little bit of also of all the food I've eaten here. My genes are still a lot, you know, I look like an Indian to you, but I swear to you, you are mistaken. I am more Enugu than Indian. Really. So, I told them, I don't need your degree. I don't need it. I think I can do better. And that time, my Austrian girlfriend there, now my wife, she said, I'm going back home. I said, give your degree. I'm going to Austria. Who wants New Zealand anyway? What is New Zealand? It's one of those nice places, but not good enough. So I went to Austria. And one of the best universities in Austria, I mean, Prof can confirm that, the Medical University of Graz was an amazing university, so I started my career there. So I started slowly as a university assistant, just building up. And like a typical Nigerian trained doctor, what did you expect? I do not need to tell you more. Professor Olafo, I was so amazed by your lecture. So what can I say? Just like he inspired, I was inspired by my teachers here. Many of whom I really have personal attachment to. Whenever I go anywhere. So when I moved into Austria, they also told me your medical degree is not recognized. You are from Nigeria. I said, no problem. Give me the exam. I took the British medical exam. I was among the top 5%. But they said, see, it doesn't matter. Your degree is from Nigeria. You are recognized in London. It doesn't mean anything to us. This is Austria. I said, good. Give me your degree. I took the degree exam in Austria. I started from anatomy, yes, medical student. I started from anatomy to neurology. I had a 6-hour course. And I was among the top 3 student foreigners in Austria. Sorry, I don't want to go on an ego trip, but I'm just trying to explain that if you are well trained, we probably reach the word foundation. If your foundation is good, nothing, I repeat, nothing can stop you. Whether you are in the United States, you are in the UK, or any country in the world, you will find it. When I moved to Austria, I didn't have one publication. Slowly, I started building up my own research group. Now, when I moved to Austria, you know I'm a tropical brain doctor, so I was more into that. But my boss was excited about space flight. Now, space flight, you think, Space flight, what does that doctor going to do with space flight? But I was thinking, as an Indian who grew up in Africa, who was trained in New Zealand, who has an Austrian wife, who has trained in Karolinska and Sweden, should I not do something outside this world? I mean, don't talk about that. You know, that is another story. When we leave, we go somewhere else. But I said, let me do something that is out of this world. And my boss was a professor of space flight physiology. He was among the first guys who actually brought the first Austrian astronaut in '92 to space. So, with him I worked. And as I started working with him, again, my entrepreneur mind started kicking in again. I mean, you know, we get bored very well. So I said, gee, there is a problem. There is something in space flight that actually, okay. Can you hear me? Okay, make a shout. Okay. Just shout though. This is your chance. If you don't hear me, you have to shout louder now. I promise you I'll understand. I need to be in a lecture host like you. I need to be humble. So I know we should tell the teacher. Can you do louder? Those of you who will pass anyway. Those of you so, for those who want to pass, I think you don't need my lecture. So there is no exam here, don't worry. So what then actually happened is, I started actually with my own boss in Austria. We started discussing. He told me space flight is so important. I told him, but space flight is nothing. It's just a model for actually aging on Earth. He told me, you will not work with my lab. I'll throw you out of my lab. I said, no, I need this job. Don't throw me out of it. So I listened to his nonsense because my prof actually still fighting with me. He said, but you had a brilliant idea. I said, of course. I learned that in Hindu. We have to do innovation. So I said, let us combine space flight with aging. He told me it's not possible because the law of physics says you will become younger when you go into space. I told him yes, by a few microseconds, but you will be old man when you come back. Yes. He said, I'm already old anyway, but what you want to do, you do when I'm retired. So I asked him, when do you retire? He said, 1st January 2014. I said, good. The day he retired, I made my own research group. That's the group I'm heading. That's the group I'm heading right now. And my boss, of course, like all typical bosses, is a part of the group now. See, they all love winners. In the beginning, everybody will say no, but if you have an idea, please push it through. So that is why the title of my talk is actually Space Flight meets Geriatrics. Geriatrics is, of course, the aging population. Now, before we go to that, I just want you to think for 1 second, what do you think, and this is, I'm going to keep it very simple, so I know we have law students, we have students from other faculties. Of course, I'll keep it very simple. What do you think keeps you on those chairs that you're sitting? Well, how do you think is the force that is actually keeping me standing here on Earth? Gravity. Thank you. Exactly. But with the gravity, we came at a very big price. Because you remember, our ancestors used to crawl on all fours. Yeah, remember? So the advantage about that was that when you crawled on fours, your heart and the brain was at one level. You see, when you look down, your heart and brain is at one level. But the moment you stand up, you see the problem. Your heart is here, the brain is here. You have to pound against gravity. Oh, there lies the fundamental problem. Because evolution didn't prepare for that. So, one big problem that happened with us is that for some reason, about millions of years ago, our ancestors, don't ask me the reason, but they actually started standing upright, like we are doing today. So the heart was here, the brain was here. And there lies the big problem. Because, and we still don't know the reason why we stood up. If any one of you knows the reason, please tell me. I don't know, and there is no evidence. But we think it was that evolution wanted us to free our hands so that we can actually be free. Because when you walk on your feet, your hands are free, you see? If you're walking on the ground, how can you use your hands? So that is what happened. We could carry our baby, we could kill each other, we could do other things with our hands. So this is how the evolution, and we started standing upright. Of course, people could reach and grab fruits, you could run around, climb trees, and if you have this on four, it is very hard. So slowly our body adapted, but we are doing great because if you look at this complicated diagram, it just tells you only one thing, that when you stand up, there's a lot of blood goes to the feet. That's the only thing I want you to remember. Forget the numbers. The only thing you remember is that when you stand up, our good friend gravity pulls the blood in the lower part. Now, all of you agree, we have a heart, right? We all have a heart. So this heart pumps blood from here to the brain. Just look at that, 20 centimeters. Now think a little bit. If the blood is all going to the feet, who is going to bring it back to the heart? We don't have a heart in the legs. I mean, I don't have. You young people with the 3D printing, maybe you have made a heart in your legs. I don't have one. Most of us faculty and our chiefs don't have it. So how do we get the blood back from the heart? Because the root in physiology is very simple. In medicine, it's like your bank account. The more you pump money in, the more you pump out. Otherwise, you just put your card and the card will just, after a while, will be swallowed by the machine because you have no money anyway. So it's the same. The heart will pump blood out, right? And when the heart pumps blood out, it needs to get blood. So how do we get the blood? The best thread we have is our muscle pump. Now, please remember this thing, because this is where the key is. The only thread that we have is our leg muscles, these muscles here. When we stand up, you see the blood is actually coming back to the heart. I don't want you to be doctors, but just remember this part, that when you stand up, your blood comes back to the heart through the muscle pump in your legs. In your legs. And as you walk the whole day around, you see, you are actually loading your body. Newton's law, you have the reaction, you know that from biology, physics. It's simple. So we load our bones and muscles. This is the only thing I want you to remember. Now, but we are very good at this. I think you have seen since morning, all of us. We have stood up hundreds of times, we have sat down hundreds of times. We have no problem. Why? Because our muscle pump is very good. And as we do this, we pump blood back to the heart, it goes to the brain is happy. Remember, the master is the brain. If the brain doesn't get enough blood, what do you think it does? It will just throw you down. Simple. There is no discussion. The brain says, I'm the master. I don't care what you want to do. Give me blood. The moment you have blood in your brain is happy. But when you're standing for too long periods, you see blood starts going to the feet. And then after a while, you see some people just falling backwards. Why? Because the blood is not going enough to the brain. So this is the story. We need to get the blood back to the heart. We are very good at it. But now just imagine, you want to send an astronaut into space. All what you have done for millions of years, our ancestors, everything, suddenly gets thrown out of the window. Why? Because when you go into space flight, you can see the rocket is not an aeroplane. It doesn't fly like this. The rocket flies like this. So you are actually upside down already. And once you are, just try to, when you go back home, put yourself upside down for 5 minutes. Watch what happens to your head. It will all be full of blood. You will never faint because the brain is happy. There is enough blood in the brain. But after a while, you will start feeling funny things. But this is what happens in space, because within 9 minutes, people leave the Earth to go to microgravity, which is like about 400 kilometers up. The rocket goes like that. Once we are up there, you will see there is no gravity. Now I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think happens when you're in space, where there is no to the feet? No, because there is no gravity. So where does it go? Think about it. But the heart, the poor heart, does not have eyes. It doesn't know what you are doing. It doesn't know you are in space. It just keeps on pumping against gravity. So all the blood is coming up and it keeps on, so your eyes actually start swelling up. You get a lot of blood in your head. That is what happens. And a lot of these changes you can see. But you know, if you are a medical doctor, there's one thing you know. The first thing you learn in medicine is whatever you do to the body will fix it for you. Remember, homeostasis, simple lecture, will simply be whatever you do to the body will fix it. If you eat a lot of sugar, body will find ways to bring it down. If blood pressure is low, body will find ways to increase it. That's what happens in space. You can see. But our body is amazing. Once we are in space, all the systems change. But if you look at that figure there in the middle, around 6 weeks, you actually adapt to that new environment. So you are staying there in space. So as long as you are there for about 6 weeks, your body will find a new level, new lecture. Because the question the body asks is, why do I need to do this? So you will start urinating a lot, you will remove a lot of your urine, you will lose a lot of your blood volume, you will start becoming actually, now watch what happens to your bones. Now this is really scary. Because if you see in this picture there, the one on the left hand side where is written the Newton, N, the Newton, These are the forces on the earth, gravity. But when you are in space, there is no loading on your bones. So the bones begin to dissolve. You hear me? Bones begin to dissolve in space. You actually have 20% bone loss per year. The medical students are still young, but if you ask them, they will tell you later on that an average female, an older lady, loses about 2 to 3% bone per year. But the astronaut is losing 20% bone per year. Now imagine what happens if you lose 20% of the bone. So that's what happens. Then look at the muscles there as well. On Earth, you actually stand like this. You see, I'm standing like this. But in space, you are just floating. You are like a ghost, just floating around everywhere. This is wonderful because you can swim and you can go upside down. But think of the loading on your bones and muscles. You're not loading them anymore. So they are not being used. The bones are becoming softer. The muscles are going away. These are, remember, your best friends to bring the blood back to the heart. Is that clear for the law students as well? Amazing. Good. So you need to get the blood back to the heart. Now watch what our friend is doing. He's like a baby in space. His legs are not touching the ground. So you lose lot of muscle. Now, as I showed you in the video before, once you are in space, the body adapts. So you can stay there as long as you want. The body says, why do you need the strong bones anyway? You are in space, you don't need your strong bones. Remember, the birds have very thin bones, they just fly. You don't need your big bones. You don't need your strong muscles. For what? You're not standing anyway, the heart is heavy anyway. The problem comes when you start coming back. Because the moment you come back, you have already wasted your body. And that is where the trouble will start. So you can see here that also in space, a lot of the, because there's no gravity, when you stand up, fluid goes to the left normally on Earth, but in space, the heart is pumping, it goes here. You have a lot of fluid there. When you come back, suddenly out from the rocket, you stand up, the first thing that happens is gravity. Poof! Blood goes to the feet. The brain says what? This is not a good man. What do you think the brain does to you? It falls backwards. So many of us, if you ask your parents, your grandparents, they will tell you, when I stand up in the morning, I actually feel dizzy. And the main reason for that is the blood is pulling in the leg, and as people get older, the muscle pump is not so strong. So blood doesn't come back to the heart. So the brain is actually trying to throw you down. So throwing you down is a good thing. Now don't push your elderly parents and your grandpas, but it is a good thing. When somebody is falling down, you gently put them to the ground. Because the brain is saying, I am not getting enough blood. Please put me down. That's what happens. And you will not believe this. The astronauts are not like us. We are very special people, all of us, I know. But the astronauts are super special. Because they are selected from about 80,000 people. The last German astronaut I know was selected from 80,000 candidates. He is super fit. But the problem is, look at what happens when they come back in space. Watch that picture on the ground. This gentleman was 9 days in space. When he came back to Earth, he couldn't stand, he just fell down. Now imagine falling down. So people fall down, and the only reason why they fall, I repeat, the main reason why they fall is because this muscle thing here is gone. That's the only thing I want you to remember for this lecture, because this is the one that is going to make it very exciting for us. Now I'm sure you are asking yourself, what is now the connection with the aging and all that? So I tell you what, because the astronauts are very few and they are very precious persons, we cannot every day take their muscle and bone. They are not happy if you every day do that. They are national heroes. They are committed by the government, they are getting medals. When you go and take their bone and muscle, you say we want to do research. They will be happy in the beginning, but after a while they'll just slap you because they are not interested. So what we do for very young people, yes, young people like you who always need money, we all need money, but young students normally need more money than all of us. So we ask young people to lie in bed. You see that gentleman there lying there? He's actually lying in bed. Because lying in bed, you are removing gravity. When you lie in bed, you don't have loading on your bones. So once you lie in bed, you begin to actually waste your muscles. So just remember that. So we put a lot of young people to lie in bed for sometimes 60 days. And I'm sure you're asking yourself, which idiot will do that? It's called money. You can always rent people. There are enough people around. Of course. So we carefully put, sometimes they lie 60 days in bed. And believe me, after 60 days, you just cannot stand up. Even if any one of you is interested, just come to me, we'll even pay you. But yeah, But if you want, and if you love your family, let me speak with your parents first, because they will never let you go. And I will never myself lie that way. So think again. So, but you know, people are happy with money, they don't see this, so they lie down in bed. And believe me, you can see up to 60 days these people, they lie in bed. They cannot stand up. They go to toilet in that position. They take a shower in that position. 60 days. And why do we do this to them? Because we want to understand what happens when you remove gravity. Now think about that. Lying in bed, repeat this, lying in bed is a model for what happens to your body in space. Now just remember that. So now I come to the second part, which I will promise to keep you equally simple. We are all aging. This is wonderful. When we were young, people died very early. Some people died 40 years, 50 years, those golden days. But now people are living longer, which is a good thing. Which is amazing. So these are European Union figures that show that up to 30% of the population, for example in Europe, up to 30% are going to be more than 65. When we say old, we don't mean 300-year-old people. We're talking about 65 and above. The 84 and above are elderly. So none of us here is elderly. We might be old, we might be senior, but none of us are elderly. Yeah? So remember the difference. So old people are getting old, which is an amazing thing because we have amazing healthcare system. But look at those areas shown in pink. That is the extra cost we have to take care of that. This area shown in pink is the extra cost because as people get older, I'm sure you will begin to figure out what I'm talking about now. Do you know this figure? I am sure you have seen this figure. It's very common in Europe where the older person stands up in the morning to see TV and they actually fall down. And I'm always saying to people, most people are okay with their aging process. Aging is not a disease. Aging is a physiology. It's like pregnancy. Pregnancy is not a disease. Aging is the normal thing. You can find what you want, but you will age. We'll all age. But I think people are okay with their aging process. As long as they take their tablet, they go and play their golf, or go and play their running or fishing, whatever you like, they are okay with that. The problem comes if any of the older persons actually falls down. So the moment they fall down, we have a problem here. And so the simple rule that we have is, remember, now go back to the old slide I told you, that we pay young people to lie in bed. Now, the old people, you don't have to pay them to lie in bed anyway. They're lying in bed anyway. What do you think? They're lying in bed because some of them have broken bones, some are waiting for surgery, some have dialysis treatment. You have all been to hospital. What about corona? In Europe, it was a very big problem too, just like we also had some problems here. People are lying during corona, COVID infection for about 2 weeks in bed. And remember, young people like you, when I put you in bed for 2 weeks, you cannot stand up. What chance do our parents have, who are already kind of, physiologically not so strong anymore? So they're already weak. So this is a common thing. But old people are lying in bed, and that is where the trouble starts. Because this statistic is really scary, actually. That whatever the reason you get into hospital, whether it is lung infection, urine infection, broken bones, corona, whatever, you're going to lie in bed. And that means you will go down more. And what will happen after you have been there lying in bed for a long time? What will happen is that when the old man or the old woman tries to stand up, because they also lost all their muscles by lying down, and those of us who have had surgery, you can confirm that. That if you put your leg in a plaster, your muscles are all gone there. It's the same. So the old man or the old woman, when they try to stand up, they feel dizzy because the muscle point is gone. So what do you think they do? They continue lying in bed. And most doctors say, yeah, it's very important, take some rest. But actually, this is a very bad vicious cycle because the more scared you are, the more you will lie in bed. And look at the statistics here, this will really scare you. Most of the hospital admissions are actually people who are more than 65-year-old. But look at what happens if they enter the hospital. The chance that they will die because of that hospitalization is very high. The chance that they will actually require more treatment, maybe at home and otherwise, is very high. So this is something we have to remember, that we just have to make sure that people that are lying in bed are moving. We have to make sure of that. Now, here you can look there. The black curve there is showing you the normal aging process. Yeah? You see the black one there? It's the normal aging process. But the dotted line there shows you what happens if you lie in bed. If you lie in bed, you can see your body begins to deteriorate. So we have to make sure we bring these people back to normal. If not, we have a problem. So anytime you see an older person lying in bed, you cannot tell them to go and do a marathon, but you must tell them to get up. Because that is the main thing. If they feel dizzy, hold them slowly and then put them back. But it is important they load their bones and muscles. Otherwise, they will end up with a permanent disability and completely lying in bed. So the message is very simple. The older people, please keep them moving, and the ones that are lying in bed, get them out of bed as soon as possible. Believe me, that is the main message here. So now, what is the relationship with space? The relationship with space is that astronauts have been going to space for a long time. So we have developed programs for that. Astronauts that go from Russia, astronauts are those that go from America. Taikonauts are those who go from China. They have different names. So these are guys who were training. We also do this in the hospital. You can see, old people are also training with it. It does not help them because these are just bands.
Yeah.
These are our friends. These pictures are supplied by the NASA. I work very closely with NASA, the JAXA, Japanese one, and the others. This gentleman is training 2 hours a day in space. How many of our senior citizens lying in bed are training 2 hours per day? Because remember, this guy is in space, so they are lying flat, in space. When we are sick, we don't train 2 hours in bed. But this gentleman, even after training 2 hours in space, when he comes back, he cannot stand up. What chance do our senior citizens have that were already sick before they went to lie down in bed? And so, my friend here, this is Professor Jon Rittberger from the German Space Agency. He has developed kind of a bed where he's running while he's on bed. You have seen this. If you go to the gym, to the training in your fitness studio, you will see there is this thing called power plate, where you stand on it and you start vibrating. It's good for your tone. It will tone up your muscles and bones. Amazing. Now I am saying, this lady is already standing up. She's already loading her bones anyway. Why don't we just put this device in the bed? Because if we put this device in bed, she'll get whoever older person is lying in bed, they will get that training. So that is because of that, I actually started a project and I formed my own company. Again, this is the innovation, think again innovation. I formed my own company where we actually, while people are lying down, this gentleman is lying down, but he's actually pushing that. So he is kind of loading his bones and muscles. You see what I mean? So this is a classical example of what we can do for our senior citizens. We can actually, when they're lying in bed, you can't ask them to run. But the other thing you can do is give them some vibration in the legs. This will strengthen their bones and muscles. Very important because that will bring back the blood to the heart. But also, the second thing is, when you're lying in bed, what is the main problem? You are removing gravity. So if I tilt your bed a little bit, 10 degrees one day, you give a little bit of loading on your bones and muscles. The next day I tilt it to 20%. Next day, I just keep on going till you're almost like this before you go home. You are still lying on your bed, but your bed is already like tilted. So you have loaded your bones and muscles, and every day I give you this vibration device. So this really helps you tone up. Now, one more thing you must remember. I don't need other people's weight. When I tilt your bed, I'm using my own weight. If this young man here gives me his weight, it's too small for me. I'm 95 kilos. It's too small for my bones. If I give you my weight, it's too much for his bones. But when you tilt the person, you are actually tilting them while they're lying in bed. So they are using their own weight to load their bones and muscles. And then we give them the vibration. And this is what my company does. We go to hospitals, we work, but you can see, this is the technology we have used for astronauts. And I am saying, if we have used amazing technology for our astronauts, why don't we use that same technology to help life on Earth? This is why the concept of life in space for life on Earth comes. But what can we learn from the astronauts? What can we use from the astronauts? So this is what we have been working with, and I believe that we will all get old, but the problem is not getting old. The problem is, please keep moving. Because as long as you move, never mind, you don't need to take part in a marathon. If you're 65 and above, just walk. Because you will be using your own weight to load your own bones and muscles. And as you load your own bones and muscles, your muscles are aware of your weight. And they will be bringing back the blood to your heart, and then you'll be very happy. So this is what we actually believe, that if you want to be active and healthy aging, if you want to carry that out, this is really important for us to think. And I believe if you do that, you will actually prevent falls in older people. And like I said, falls is the end point. Because the moment people fall, the first thing they're thinking, will I be independent? Will I be able to do my things? Will I be alive? Will my children come and look after me? You see, they get afraid. They get depressed. It's not all about physiology. It's also about the mind. So people get depressed. They don't want your treatment. My father actually fell down and broke his hip bone. He refused treatment. We forced him to almost beat him up to get the treatment. In the end, yes, we have to beat him up with physiology. But he agreed in the end. But the mind was just for you to see tears crying from his eyes. Because it was so painful for him to see his children cleaning him up. The professor. So this is very sad. But if you can move them early, help them, you will actually help them. That is what we call the micro level. But you will also help the community. Imagine our families. How much cost is that if we have our parents in senior homes or in hospitals? You have to, we're all working. What do we do with our parents at home? And it's important that if we can prevent falls, I think this is the last message I want to give to everybody here. If you can actually prevent these falls, so what I will say to you is only one, and that I promise to actually stop almost. Just remember one thing from this lecture. Forget all the whatever, Wala and the Jackman, all I saw. Keep it simple. Anytime you see an old man or an old woman lying in bed, or if you have the desire to say, hey, I will just crash, I will just lie on the weekend in a hospital or in my house bed. Better think, because you will actually lose your muscles and bones very fast. And when you stand up, you will feel easy. And if you see an old person lying in bed, of course if they have a broken bone, you can't just say, start walking around. You can't do that. But we have to make sure, under our hospital there, and we doctors of the future, we have to be aware that lying in bed is the worst thing you can do, because you're actually simulating space flight, which our body never did for millions of years. So we need to get up, move, physical activity, never mind the activity, but anyone that loads your bones and muscles, you're in business. Because you're loading your bones and muscles. You can train all your hands. It doesn't matter. It is these muscles in the legs that you need to bring back. Because when there is because the moment we stand, blood goes to the feet, and we need to bring it back. And the only one that can bring it back is our muscles in the leg. So thank you so much for listening, and
You can do a little better than that. On behalf of the seniors of our university, I give you this award as the 11th Convocation Lecturer of Godfrey Okoye University. Congratulations. Congratulations.
It was possible. Again, I say, Prof, I think you will have to let me say a few words, because Prof, the vision he had, believe me, I repeat again, I wish we all had this vision. He only cares for people. Please always think. And the word I always told him, you can be very proud of what you have achieved. He said, no. I show gratitude to God. He's always using the word gratitude. The Lord students heard it as well the other day. He says, please show gratitude to your parents. And I say, when you're saying gratitude to God and everything, say gratitude also to gravity that is helping you.
This way,
Goswami for this down-to-earth lecture. I'm sure we enjoyed ourselves and everybody understood you like an Enugu boy. This is good. Thank you. I have been directed to invite Professor Wadini, the CMD, Godfrey University, to please give a vote of thanks.
I wish to align myself to the protocol already established and move ahead to do the assignment assigned today. One thing is obvious from the lecture we had today, and I hope that the younger ones are encouraged by the quality of the product that is coming from Nigeria. I'm happy that our guest lecturer acknowledged that in full and is giving a lot of credit to our country. Our guest lecturer was 2 years in Nigeria in the university. And when we saw her, we were happy because it kind of mini reunion. So we thank you in a very special way. The lecture came down to us like a gospel. We understood it clearly. And for those of us who are in the medical profession, it meant a lot of impact. For the law students and the law professors, it also impacted on them because I observed that many of them were nodding their heads. So I want to thank you on behalf of the university for this excellent lecture. And I want to appeal to all that listen this afternoon, please put in practice what you have learned this afternoon. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Wadini, CMD, Godfrey University. For the closing remarks, may I humbly invite the Pro-Chancellor, Chairman, Governing Council, Godfrey University, to give the closing remarks. Professor Wachukwuokeke, please.
I would have stood on the protocols already established before I make my remarks, but I will not. Or if I do, I have to mention some recognitions that must be made because of their importance. On behalf of the Governing Council, I wish to thank the Vice Chancellor for reaching out as usual. Normally did the last 10 convocations, this is the 11th, reaching out to the world and bringing to Godfrey University a retired professors in different fields of them. Practice because you have to know what is needed, you have to have the contractual abilities to bring those, you have to be persuasive enough to bring solid people. And here in our midst, I want to recognize set up in the 17th century in Austria. I'm talking of Professor Robert has no. You agree with me that they need to be further recognized and thanked for being with us. I also want to recognize, apart from our own universities and hierarchy of our university, my boss, the teaching of law, Professor Edwin Wu, sitting at the end. Professor Edwin Wu is a name in law and the humanities. I wouldn't be standing as a professor of law for about 40 years now, but for him, he hired me at the University of Nigeria. I must recognize my other colleague, Professor Bonfils here. These are close to the law. Mr. Vice Chancellor, without breaching protocol, the chairman of the Board of Trustees at the commencement of this university in 2009, Professor Chidubem, our pioneer, chairman of the Board of Trustees, I thank you for your steadfastness in supporting this ceremony has been so well mastered by the master of ceremony, Dr. Alice. And our university orator, and I thank you. I will thank you sufficiently enough for the grace and vigor and life you give to ushering our speakers and people who organize. What lies my hand as the chairman of council is the very progressive development of this university in every respect. That has been possible by God's own grace. And by His grace, God has endowed us with personalities in various positions under the able leadership of the headmaster of the university. I will close these remarks by saying something that lightens my heart. When Professor Goswami was speaking, and when I met him yesterday, he told me he was going to speak on this subject. What came to my mind was where Nigeria was in the 80s. In the 1980s, early 80s, it was an anathema. It was the relationship between law, science, and technology. Those of you who old enough who are here recognize the battle of defending the establishment of a faculty of law in the University of Technology. And I was the culprit, I was the target. What is this man doing as a dean of law, establishing law faculty in the University of Technology? That followed me to Oka, followed me to Yusuf, where I studied those faculties. And I was arguing that we cannot talk about these universities without the faculty of law. And I put my feet down. And I thought that today, people are recognizing that there is strong relationship between law, science, and technology. In fact, without law, that is the bedrock of all these studies. The area of medicine we spoke about falls within my area of competence. That is the area of aerospace and telecommunications law. You have two root cause competitions in law. Affiliation root cause competition and aerospace and telecommunications law. All they have spoken about with regards to astronauts, their health and so forth, are legal implications. So, as you were talking, Professor, I was glad that our students on the PTA are here. And I've been looking forward to begin, and my colleagues in the Faculty of Law will mount as one of the electives space law. Because space law is an area that is now really moving forward. Having said that, I want to thank every one of you that have made it on behalf of council. We're very glad university is moving well. And we are looking forward to joining us tomorrow. We will work in together through the 11th Convocation. Once more, on behalf of council, the university, we are very grateful to our guests and all of you for blessing and honoring this invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prof. For the final lecture. Next over, tomorrow is the day for the award of degrees. And all our students, those here and those outside, you're really going to have to be there. If you are late and the bus leaves you, you have to take yourself to the main campus. Okay? So then that's true. That the bus left me, it's not on the street. You have the buses to take you. Then if you decide to hide somewhere in the hostel, then you find yourself there. You take a cab and be there. Very important. And members of staff, of course, you know, we expect you, all of you to be there. Okay? We expect all of you. You know, maybe it's not to be there, let us know. Please, it's very important. The new professors have a guest, so they want to join us in dinner. You are otherwise you are free to go about enjoying yourself with their guests and all that. You know that at the plans. Members of the Senate, we expect you to be in the hall for the dinner. Members of the Government Council here, we are expected to be there. Big briefs soon and then they expected to join in the listen. Members of the senior administrative staff also expect you to be there during the listen, during the dinner. And the every Vice Chancellor, Professor, please also. And then we'll see how it goes. The students will stay around, just stay around after the attendance is submitted. Let's see how we can make sure they have something to eat. Let's say then hurry to go back to the hospital. You can't be in the hurry, okay? You can be in the hurry. So that's it for now. We're thank God for everything has been said, that should have been said. I'm grateful to him. Let's say that, please, do the amen.
Yes, but thank you for Vice Chancellor. It just remains for me to invite Father Humphrey to please say the closing prayer, and then we'll take the national anthem, and that will be it.
For the attendance of the students, the Director of Communications, Father Benjamin, please take the attendance once they're out of business. You come in front and hand the attendance on your own. Don't try to cut corners, okay? Anyway, so the Director, stand up so that they can see you. Then the Director of Communications for the university, in case you don't know him, you stand here to take your attendance, and after that, you'll find yourself close to the hall.
We stand for the closing prayer. In the name of the Father. Lord, we thank you for this successful ceremony and drawing to a close this afternoon. We thank you for all the inspiration shared. We thank you for all the important people that came here today. We thank you for guiding us through the ceremony up to this moment with good health, to inspiration, to our wisdom, and with the joy and enthusiasm of being part of this special occasion. As we close for this particular ceremony, we ask that we guide all of us home safely through Christ our Lord. Amen. We commend ourselves to our Blessed Virgin Mary by saying, we fly to our patronage. Lord, if is present, we bless the people. The Lord be with you. And may the Almighty God bless and remain with you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Peace be with you.
Please continue to stand while those here with my professors and compilers to the strength of the hall. We take off our robe inside the hall. Avoid looking for anybody. Please, we go through here. Stand students, once professors and lecturers and the hall, you can come back.
Sir, can we quickly take the photograph here before the recession goes in reverse order? Thank you.